Why was that
Yeah.
why
That
was
shit
that
escalated quickly in the beginning.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh god, it's awesome. Like, how far am I in? I can't be more than 20 minutes in.
Nice.
Yeah, about 20 minutes in, and like major battle.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
encouraging.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't care for it personally. Like,
Okay, but are you a Trek fan?
no.
Okay, see, I heard this was like the Trekist Star Trek.
Trek, ever.
No, like
Well,
of the
The reboot.
trilogy.
Abrams
Yeah.
reboot, this was the Star Trekist of the three.
Now, I will say the thing that I did love about this particular track was I didn't have to squint my eyes through constant lens flares.
Oh,
It's
okay,
good.
I haven't seen it yet, so
Yeah, no, it's not constant lens flares. You can actually see what's going on the entire way through. So
that's cool. It's like the how it should have ended. We don't have enough power. Somebody turn off the lens flare generator.
yeah, actually, I take it back. It wasn't a bad movie. It was enjoyable. I don't feel like I wasted my life or anything like that. It did have good story elements to it, but I thought the first one was so awesome,
Oh, the first one was amazing.
and the second one kind of was okay. And this last one, I think I was still just so stoked over the first one that it's hard to live up to.
The first one was just a good movie in
Yeah.
general. I mean, it was a decent Star Trek movie, don't get me wrong, but it was a good movie, like a good sci-fi movie. The second one was fan service.
Yeah.
Like they're like, okay, we've established this. Now we're gonna make the movie that everybody wants, which was Wrath of Khan. So we're gonna redo Wrath of Khan, and we're gonna turn it on its ear, and we're gonna like invert all of the major scenes and all this stuff. And that's gonna be
that was the heyday of Dingle Big Snacky Batch.
Right.
He had to be in everything.
right.
But a transporter, a
Slut
one-man
Bunwalla.
transporter that could transport him across the galaxy. Why don't they just put that on all the ships? If that's possible, warp speed is completely and utterly
Irrelevant.
unnecessary at that point.
Yeah. We I was actually talking to Steph about a conversation I had with my students about things of that nature.
Hmm.
We were talking about, I don't know how it got brought up, but we were talking about time travel and how one of my students adheres to the quantum leap theory
Yeah.
that you can travel within your own lifetime, but you can never go any further back or any further forward than just your lifetime. Because universally you don't exist, and you can only travel within the scope of time in which you exist.
Yeah. Well, my particular stance. Did we lose Mikey?
We did. He
Okay.
died.
My particular stance on time travel is kind of skewed. Like, I would love to believe in the multiverse theory, but at the same time, I would be more apt to believe that backwards and forwards time, especially backwards time travel, would be conceivable, and no timelines would have changed because you would have already traveled back in time. Like, you existed in that past time as a time traveler. You just weren't
Right.
born yet.
That it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. Now, the crap side effect of that is one day you will die. And like, if you travel back in time and you weren't able to go back forward, then that means if you died in the past, you would be reborn in the future only to go back to the past
And die.
You would be caught in an endless loop.
Yes. And see, he also has this weird idea that you would be perceived as the age you are in the past. Like, if you go back in time, Other
would-
people will see you as the age you are in the past.
you would like meld with the 9-year-old you or whatever.
I guess I'm like, yeah, that I'm not there. I don't buy that. And I said, now what most people don't think about as far as for traveling forward, Mikey, are you in a fan? Are you like,
I'm under a fan.
because it is like,
Jesus criminy.
it's just like beating down on your microphone.
What kind of microphone did you give me?
I don't know, but it's just like,
Bagpipes sound like bombs.
yeah, no. Sounds like you're.
Let me turn my fan off and sit in the dark.
Anyway, so what a lot of people with time travel don't think about is what I think Back to the Future 2 got wrong.
Which was?
Marty goes forward to, like, Doc goes forward to and sees how Marty's life played out and sees that his kids are useless and whatnot. And then he goes back to 1985 to get Marty to come to 2015
Yeah.
and help. Now, here's the thing, though. Once Doc picks Marty up in 1985, in like November, whatever, or October 25th, 1985,
Yep.
and they go forward to 2015, there will not be
A Marty.
a
Yeah.
Marty.
He will
He
simply have disappeared.
He will have disappeared in 1985. And no one will know. And then all of a sudden, he will reappear in 2015, not having aged a day. By going forward, you cannot see how your life ends up because you left the timeline.
Rip Van
But-
Winkle style.
It's like Bill and
Exactly.
Ted, though. Well, Bill, remember to go back in time and steal your dad's keys. As long as you go back forward, as long as you jump back to where you left, there shouldn't be a problem.
Right, but that's the thing, though. Is you can't go forward and meet your future self because your future self won't exist because you went forward.
Right.
There's not a version of you that stays in the present to live out your life for you to meet up with 30 years later to see how it all played out. You left.
Right. And all of that could have been avoided had the Doc simply come back with a list of things for Marty to never do.
Yeah. Don't
Right.
drive.
Yeah. Or see, what I also don't get is when he at the end of Back to the Future 1, subsequently the beginning of Back to the Future 2, where he's like, "We've got to hurry. Something's got to be done about your kids." I'm like, you have a time machine.
There's no hurry.
Never in a hurry.
Mhm.
You will literally never be late anywhere.
No.
You have Marty even says it at the end of the first one. He's like, if only I had more time. He's like, I got all the time I need. I got a time machine. But then like 10 minutes later, Doc is like, oh, we got to go. We're in a hurry. Come on. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Slow the hell down. You're not in a hurry. You have a time machine. Yeah. It's, yeah. I know.
Time travel
there
is
were
a
things-
mind bender.
Dude, time travel is ridiculous. Like, there are so many things. It's fascinating. Honestly, I think the closest thing we will ever have to time travel is breaking the light barrier.
Yeah.
Because once you're traveling at the speed of light, time stops.
Yeah.
So once you slow down to real time, you will be in the future because time will not have passed for you and it will have passed for everyone else.
Yeah. And in theory, according to those NASA forums, with this M drive, we've figured out how to do it. So that's insane. The fact that in our lifetimes, we will break the speed of light. I mean, James's generation could walk under a different sun.
That's
How-
awesome.
How crazy is that?
Yes, all thanks to Elon Luther.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, seriously, somebody needs to keep tabs on that dude.
He's already talking about nuking Mars. So
Elon Musk is Lex Luthor.
yeah.
Side note.
He's benevolent right now, but one lab accident is all it's going to
Mhm.
take.
Side note: don't Google M Drive. It's EM Drive. It's a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
Well, I have to now.
Yeah,
Should this be in an incognito window?
maybe.
Should there be breadcrumbs in this?
You might want to drop it below the radar on this one.
Okay.
Cause I'm yeah.
What are we?
I'm-
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just seeing
Interesting.
a lot of schematics. What am I not supposed to be seeing?
Did you do the letter M, drive?
Oh no, I spelled it
Yes.
properly. Okay.
Yeah. No, do it incorrectly.
Oh,
Do it phonetically.
Yeah. It's
okay.
it's
Testosterone.
it's testosterone pills. It's performance. It's bedroom performance enhancing drugs.
Oh, I want to read the reviews on Amazon now.
Oh, they can't be as good as the gummy bears.
No,
Gummy bears.
nothing beats Google the biggest.
Hold on. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Stop.
Um,
Everybody needs to stop what they're doing right now. Do you not know about the gummy bears?
No.
Oh God. Okay, this is gonna be like the
It's
day
a
that,
10-minute tangent. Yeah.
no. This is gonna be like the day that KP explained what a lemon party was to Allison
Okay.
Hayslip. Do yourself and everyone listening, if you don't know what we're talking about, do yourself a favor. Go to Google and type sugar-free gummy bear Amazon reviews. It is the funniest thing you will ever experience in your lifetime. I guarantee it.
Okay.
I'm going to do this, and just to give you an idea, sugar-free gummy bears. It even suggests it. Amazon customer reviews. Here we go. For Haribo sugar-free gummy bears 5-pound bag. Let's see. Here's a 1-star review. Just don't unless it's a gift for someone you hate. Dated October 3rd, 2012.
Well, there's a 5-star review. It's titled "Ideal Gift for Your Congressional Representative."
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
You cut out a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Well, I'm coughing. I'm
Oh.
doing the mic drop for coughs.
Okay, here we go. Oh, man. Words cannot express what happened to me after eating these. The Gummy Bear Cleanse. If you are someone that tolerates the sugar, that can tolerate the sugar substitute, tried my order, run. First of all, for taste, I would rate these a 5. So good. Soft, true to taste fruit flavors, like the sugar variety. I was a happy camper. But, or should I say, but with 2 T's.
Aha.
Not long after eating about 20 of these, all hell broke loose. I had a gastrointestinal experience like nothing I've ever imagined. Cramps, sweating, bloating beyond my worst nightmare. I've had food poisoning from bad shellfish, and that was almost like a skip in the park compared to what was going on inside me. Then came flatulence. Heavens to Murgatroyd, the sound, like trumpets calling the demons back to hell. The stench, like 1,000 rotten corpses vomited. I couldn't stay in one room for fear of succumbing to my own odors. But wait, there's more. What came out of me felt like someone tried to funnel Niagara Falls through a coffee straw. I swear my sphincter was screaming. It felt like my delicate starfish was a gaping maw, projectile vomiting, a torrential flood of toxic waste, 100% liquid, flammable liquid, napalm. It was actually a bit humorous for a nanosecond, as it was just beyond anything I can imagine possible. And it went on for hours. I felt violated when it was over, which I think may have been sometime in the early morning of the next day. There was stuff coming out of me I ate at my wedding in 2005. I had 5 pounds of these innocent-looking, delicious-tasting hell bears. So I told a friend about what happened, thinking it had to be some type of sensitivity I had to the sugar substitute. And in spite of my warnings and graphic descriptions, she decided to take her chances and take them off my hands. Silly woman. All of the same for her, and a phone call from her while on the toilet, because she kind of ended up living in the bathroom for a spell, telling me she really wished she had listened. I think she was crying. Her sister was skeptical and suspected that they were exaggerating. She took them to work since there was still 99% of a 5-pound bag left. She works for a construction company where there are builders, roofers, house painters, landscapers, etc. Lots of people who generally have limited access to toilets on a given day. I can't imagine where all those poor men and women pooped that day. I kept envisioning men on roofs crossing their legs and trying to decide if they could make it down the ladder or if they should just jump. If you order these, best of luck to you, and please don't post a video review during the aftershocks. P.S. When I ordered these, the warnings and disclaimers and legalese were not posted. I'm not a moron. Also, not sure why so many people assume I'm a man. I am a woman. We poop too. Of course, our poop sparkles and smells like a walk in a meadow of wildflowers. Thanks for all the great comments. I've been enjoying reading them and so glad the horror show I experienced from snacking on these at least made some people smile.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Oh, they get so much better. Like, that wasn't even the best one.
Yeah, the gummy bears are amazing.
Oh my god, this is like, you can read these all day.
Yeah. It's a rainy day,
like,
feel better kind of thing.
It is. And if you just scroll through and see how long these reviews are. Like, here's one entitled, "Everything you read on here, it's real. God help me, it's real." So yeah, no, like, they're amazing. The sugar-free gummy bear reviews are amazing. A favor when you're having a bad day and just read sugar-free gummy bear reviews on Amazon, and it will make your day better. So, we lost Beach.
Oh no. Yeah, my internet dropped earlier.
Yeah. So
I've gone back. I'm looking at the 5 stars now.
Oh, I closed the rabbit hole.
Oh, just the first paragraph makes me want to read. I bought 2 bags of these to my son's school for their harvest party because of the new sugar-free and healthy eating initiatives. All appeared well. The kids were thrilled to have something that wasn't carrot sticks or clementine pumpkins.
Oh no.
Within a few minutes,
someone think of the children.
the munchkins had polished off their first bag and were tearing into the second. And I'm going to leave you hanging on that one.
Oh.
This is from October 24th of 2015.
Oh, God.
It says, "Scariest harvest party will forever haunt the school."
Oh, someone think of the children?
I think they did.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Seriously, the sugar-free gummy bears. It's a good time.
Let's jump on your reading. You actually picked up a physical book.
I did. I bought a book. So this is a really long story to get from A to B is going to take a while. So settle in, kids. We're going to take a little journey. So several months ago, actually, God, it's way back longer than that. There was this dude on Twitter that I found, Professor Beej. He hold on, getting an error message. We'll try. Oh, Beej. Beej is just having some technical problems, so he'll jump in whenever he gets back. So anyway, his name's Professor Beej on Twitter. That's Beej with 2 E's. and he is the proprietor of geekfitness.net. And he's just like an everyman that he went to Florida with his wife and got a special preview ticket to the wonderful world of Harry Potter, and was too big to get on the roller coaster. And
Story of my life.
because he was too big for the roller coaster, and that's when he turned his life around on the weight loss and whatnot. And and he was documenting all of this, and he started a podcast with a friend of his called the Geek to Geek podcast, and you really should check it out because it's basically us with structure.
What's that like?
And professionalism. And so that's a really good podcast. It's the Geek to Geek podcast. Be careful when you Google it though, because Geek to Geek don't use the number 2. It's TO, because Geek to Geek with the number 2 is a dating service. Is an online dating service. Is allegedly for geeks to meet other geeks. That it's not. It's not true. It's a cesspool. But not that I know that, but from several years ago. But no, the Geek to Geek podcast. It's a really good podcast, and early on they did this thing that was health hacks from Beach, and it was these little things that just help, little tips and tricks and whatnot to help people get healthier and whatnot. And it turned into a podcast of its own.
Cool.
And so he does the Geek Fitness Health Hacks podcast, and he talks about where his weight loss journey started and whatnot, and he talks about his struggles with anxiety. And I found a kindred spirit in Professor Beach. Our stories were very similar, and I could relate to a lot of the things he was talking about with the weight, the struggles with weight, and the struggles with anxiety and whatnot. And I believe it's the second episode or so. It's about the importance of your mental health, and it's dangerous to go alone, and that he talks about how he has gotten help from a mental health professional and things like that. And it got me thinking about my own mental health. And I this summer had I don't know if I've talked about it on here before, but I realized over the summer that I was starting to have panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And my anxiety attacks manifest as rage. I was getting like flip the table angry when I would have my panic attacks. And that led me, one day I erupted at my kids, and I went off to my bedroom and I shut the door, and like I was shaking all over and my heart was racing and everything. I'm like, this is not okay. Like this is not okay. And I made the decision to go look for help. And so I went to a doctor. I was a grown up, and I went to a doctor, and I got some help. And I not sure I would have done that if it was not for this podcast and for talking to Beej on Twitter and whatnot. And so he's been really a really great resource. Well, he talked about this book called 10% Happier, and I really wish Beej was back on here because I told him earlier this week I wanted to talk to him about this on here. But the book's called 10% Happier. It's by
Dan Harris.
Dan Harris, ABC News correspondent Dan Harris.
Oh, I know that dude. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you watch ABC News at all, you would recognize this guy.
Yeah.
And he had PTSD from being a wartime correspondent overseas. And was trying to self-medicate through illicit drugs and had a panic attack live on Good Morning America.
Oh,
And yeah, in front of everybody in like 2011, maybe. I don't remember exactly when it was, but he had a panic attack live on air on Good Morning America. And it led him down this road of self-discovery to figure out how to treat this problem and whatnot. And he wrote this book, and it's 10% Happier is the book, and it's about his journey of how the panic attack happened and what, like, all the things that precipitated it and what he did afterwards to deal with it. And he has become a Buddhist. And that's what this book talks about, is how Buddhism has got two different sides. There's Eastern Buddhism and there's Western Buddhism, which is sometimes referred to as secular Buddhism. And I really hope I'm getting all this right, because this is really fresh information. And if I'm getting things confused, I apologize.
and correct us. I mean, this is
Let me
the
know
learning podcast. Yeah.
if I'm wrong and I'm getting some of this, because I've just absorbed as much of this as humanly possible in the last 4 days. But it was there's Eastern Buddhism, which is reincarnation and karma, and Buddhism as a religion, where the Buddha is the spiritual being and things like that. Then there's what has become Western Buddhism, which is taking the principal tenets of Buddhism without, as they say, all the woo-woo of, like,
Woo woo.
right? You don't have to burn incense and listen to sitar music
And
and
shave
stuff
your
like
head.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do all that, and you don't even have to have a statue in your house and set up a shrine and rub his belly and all that stuff. Which, incidentally, 2,500 years ago in India, they didn't have big fat people like that. He would have looked like Gandhi.
Yeah, it would have been skinny.
Like, he would have been
Yeah.
frail and bony like Gandhi. He would not have looked like the statue. Let's just get that out there. But Buddhism can, when not looked at as a religion, which Dan Harris even admits, he calls himself a Buddhist, but he doesn't look at Buddhism as a religion. It's not that's not what it's about. And taking the principal tenets of Buddhism of spirit of enlightenment, the path of enlightenment, and letting go of material things, and letting go of baggage, emotional baggage and mental baggage, and using the tenets of Buddhism for psychotherapy, and using it as a way to deconstruct what our mind does. And it's shutting down the voice in your head. And that's what Dan talks about in the book, is there's that voice in your head that tells you to do these things, and it's the voice that tells you bad things are happening, and worries and all this stuff. And it's all the different parts of your brain. Like, there's the monkey brain, where it's this little rhesus monkey that just has to have all the shiny objects and is easily distracted, and there's the compromising brain and the competitive brain and things like that. And it's about how to take all of the crap that goes on in your own head and filter it and turn it off and become what they call mindful. And that's the concept, is called mindfulness. And this is done through meditation. And I've looked into meditation before, and I dabbled, but I didn't have enough information. Well, this book has opened my eyes to a whole new world of possibilities. And I've been reassuring my family I'm not becoming a Buddhist yet. I'm not converting to Buddhism as far as like I'm a Christian. I don't plan on changing. If I was going to do any kind of converting, I would convert to Catholicism for my wife. But she's never asked me to do that, and we've talked about it, and that's not something that I'm ever going to do. I'm not looking for a new religion. I, at the same time, am in a lengthy crisis of faith. But I don't think that's got anything to do with this. I'm not looking for a replacement for my faith. My faith is what it is, and this has got nothing to do with my relationship with God. This has everything to do with my relationship with myself.
Yeah.
And so I've been reassuring my family that I'm not becoming a Buddhist. I'm not gonna buy a statue and all that stuff. Like, that's not gonna happen. I'm not buying a tambourine and a robe. I'm just exploring the aspects of the non-religious aspects of Buddhism. I keep coming back to the word spiritual because I feel like that's what it is. But I don't mean spiritual in a theological sense. I mean spiritual in a
enlightenment sense.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I get you.
And so I started this book on Monday, the audio book on Monday. And it's almost an 8-hour long audio book. It's a short book. It's only like 200 pages, like 220, I think. It's the count. The page count is about 220. It's about an 7.5, 8-hour audio book. Normally, my audiobooks serve the purpose of getting
the drive to and from.
Right, exactly. Because I drive so much, it gets me from A to B, and that's what my podcasts and my audiobooks do. Now, I really enjoy them. I mean, I've read, and I use the term "read" as my audiobooks because that's what I feel. I mean,
I do too. Yeah,
I feel like I read the book.
You've acquired the knowledge. You can say, I know what that book's about. I can talk about it.
Right. They're unabridged audiobooks, so I didn't not get parts of it. So I've read The Martian and Ready Player One 3 times each.
I love you.
Like, seriously.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you.
And
how through those mothers.
But here's the thing. I mean, those are like desert island books for me. But here's the thing. Now, with the first time I read The Martian, I was hooked, and I read The Martian on my way to Austin 3 years ago, and I went to I went to a technology. I was going to a system administrators conference in October of about 3 years ago, and my boss had recommended The Martian. And so I got the audiobook. It's like, oh, I got to drive down to Austin. This will be a good book. And I ended up continuing to listen to it in the hotel room because I had a hotel room by myself. I continued listening to it in the hotel room because I was just so enthralled in the story. And I knocked that out in a road trip to Austin, basically. Yeah. This book, though, this 10% Happier, I managed to go through this entire book in the span of 2 days. I started it Monday morning on my way to work. I listened to it at work while my students were studying for their 9-week exam. I listened to it at home Monday night and was able to finish the book when I got home. I had about 30 minutes left when I got home from work Tuesday, and I finished this book. I had maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours of the book left when I got to work Tuesday. And I'm like, I'm ready to finish this book because I want to read it again. That's how much I enjoyed this book and how into this book I was. And that's when I went and bought it. I'm like, I need to take notes. And when I read this book again, I need to take notes. So I went to Half Price Books and I picked it up. And I may be on a enlightenment journey, but I'm also cheap because they had 3 copies. They had 2 nice copies for $7.99 each, and they had a water damaged copy for $5.99. And I'm going to write it anyway. So water damaged it was.
That's right.
So I bought it for $6.49. And so I have a hard copy of the book. I have a Kindle copy of the book. I have an audio copy of the book. And I think what I'm going to do when I reread it here in a few days, and I may do that over the break. That may be what I do over the break is try to read this book. I'm going to do old school. Do you remember we had these kid books that came with an audio cassette that read it to you?
Yeah.
And it would give a tone when it was time to turn the page. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook again, but I'm going to read along with it.
Yeah.
So that I can make notes and whatnot. Because I think I can get through it faster that way than me trying to actually, because I think with my dyslexia and everything, have him read it to me while I'm following along in the book. I can jot down my notes and underline things and whatnot. And so I've also, in addition to Beach about other, I want to learn more, but I want to make sure I learn the right stuff. And were there any other books or anything that he recommended? And 2 of the main people that Dan talks about in the book is Mark Epstein is a Buddhist. I don't remember his backstory. It's a lot of information I've gotten in the last few days. But Mark Epstein is one of the people that he talks about in the book. He's got several books out about meditation and Buddhism and whatnot as psychotherapy and things like that. And so there's a book that Beej recommended of Mark Epstein's, and I have not gotten that book yet. It's called Going to Pieces Without Falling Apart.
Yeah.
It was written in 1998. I'm currently trying to find the audio book of that. Since it's an older book, it's a little bit harder to find. But yeah, it's Going to Pieces Without Falling Apart is Mark Epstein's book that I'm looking for. And the other person is Dan's meditation coach or teacher, his meditation teacher, which is Joseph Goldstein. And if you're noticing a theme in these names, for some reason, a lot of the Western Buddhist population were raised Jewish. And they refer to themselves as Jew-boos. Jewish Buddhist, Jew-boos, which I think is hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
And so I don't know what the correlation is there, but I mean, Dan wasn't raised Jewish, but he had a lot of Jewish friends, so he went to Hebrew school with his Jewish friends and got bar mitzvah and everything by choice as a kid. It was weird. And so I don't know what the correlation is between Judaism and Buddhism, but it's there apparently. And I don't know if it's just a bunch of disenfranchised Jews or how it works, but Joseph Goldstein is pretty much the authority on Western Buddhism. And he has a big spiritual center in Massachusetts where they do all these retreats and whatnot. And he has an audio series that Beej recommended, and I started looking at it, and it was kind of pricey. It was a little pricier than I wanted to spend because, again, I'm cheap. Mm-hmm. But in searching around, I found a message board talking about, like, someone asked about the audiobooks and like, is it worth it? And someone said, don't buy the book. Go to this website and Beej is officially out because his PC is being expletive deleted.
Sad day.
So sad day. Which is really, that sucks because he was like every day for the last week and a half.
I wanted to hear about this.
Well, no. He's like, when are we going to record? When are we going to record? When are we going to record? For like a week and a half now, and we're recording, and now he's not here. So I feel bad. But anyway, someone's like, go to this website and look for, like, do a search of this term. And it's basically a repository of all of his lectures from this center, and his audio program is essentially a lecture series under this one topic. And so I looked at it, and it actually categorized all of them, and it's 46, I believe, a 46 lecture series, and they're all about an hour long. And so I downloaded all of them. So I'm going to start working my way through this lecture series I think what I'm going to do is just roll it into my podcast schedule, being that they're an hour long. I think I'm just going to roll
equivalent. Yeah,
I'm gonna roll them into my podcast schedule, and just work through it a little bit at a time. And the 10% Happier has an app with a free trial, a 7-day free trial that walks you through the beginning stages of mindful meditation. And it's, so I've signed up for that. And they say it's a 7-day free trial. It's not like you have to give them a credit card and you get the first 7 days free and then they bill you or anything like that. You just sign up and you have access to 7 days. Wow. And it's day one, and you start it whenever you want. And so I'm going to start it over the break. I'm going to run I think that's a good time when I can focus on it and I'm not distracted by work stuff. And so I'm going to start on Monday and listen to them. And it's like a lesson and then a guided meditation associated with that lesson. And I'm going to have a lot of time to myself over the break that I can commit to doing this, and I can have just like Monday, Steph is off for Columbus Day. Or not Columbus. Yeah. Is it Columbus Day?
It is Columbus Day.
Yes. It's a fair day if you're within the certain radius, but if you're not inside the radius, it's Columbus Day. So Stephanie, sorry, I was getting some coffee. Stephanie is off Monday. And so we're going to spend the day together. We're going to send Blake to school and spend the day together, which is great because I haven't seen my wife since July. We're going to go hit up the 20%, go find a 20% off teacher at Half Price Books and
excellent.
And go have lunch and everything like that. And but I'm still going to have, I can still say, hey, I'm going to go do this thing, and I can go to James's room or something and have some time to myself. Tuesday, I'm home all day, just me after I take Blake to school. Wednesday, I've got some time in the afternoon. Thursday, I've got some time in the morning. So, I mean, I've got time that I can dedicate to this week. And so that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this 7-day program and see if it's worth buying into. Now, I like that it's the guy that's gotten me interested in it doing it, but at the same time, if I can get the same thing out of this other app that I have that is an annual fee, because remember I bought that subscription was like half price or something.
Yeah.
A few months ago. I've got that, which is an annual subscription. This other is a monthly subscription. And I'm like, I really don't want to pay it's only like $10 a month, but I'm like, I'm diming myself to death because I'm like Hulu and Netflix and
Yeah.
this and that and this and that. And I'm like, everything's only $10 a month. But after a
But it
while, I'm like,
stacks up.
$200
Yeah.
worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And so if I can avoid having to sign up for a monthly subscription service for this meditation program, I would love to do that because I think I can get the same thing out of these other services. And so that's my goal over the break, is to dive into this meditation part, and I'm going to just continue studying the path of enlightenment of the Western secular Buddhism.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe it's my thing and I'll become a Christian Buddhist, which is entirely possible because they don't contradict each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not replacing God with another deity. This isn't I don't see it in that respect because I'm not worshiping or praying to Buddha. It's all about internal things.
Yeah.
And now there's, when you go hardcore, there's like mantras and things that you can repeat, and there are, for lack of a better word, Buddhist prayers, but it's not like you're praying to Buddha. You're saying it's like
It's saying something over and over again, so it's set in your brain.
It is, but it's like the whole peace be with you and also with you. It's based in the tenets and the belief system, but it's not like you're praying to a deity. You're saying a mantra that they're calling a prayer.
Yeah.
And so, it is in another language. It is in whatever Hindu or whatever the language
is, yeah,
of the Buddha is. But no, I'm really interested and really excited about this new door that I've opened up, and I'm hoping it will. There's a lot of things that Dan talks about in his book that a lot of things that it solved, I guess you could say, and it's a lot of things that I'm dealing with myself, and I'm hoping that it will help me in the same ways that it's helped him, like letting go of things and not letting things, like, it's something like if somebody cuts you off in traffic. Like, I've got terrible road rage because I drive so much, and I get terrible road rage. But if somebody cuts you off in traffic, okay, it happened, move on.
Yeah, get over it.
And not letting things like that. And that would be really, really helpful for me in dealing with all of the struggles I have with co-parenting. And like, James has a soccer game that's been moved to Sunday now.
Boned.
And so not letting that kind of stuff bother me. And I think it will really help with the way that I deal with my classes as well, and help get some of my anger under control, and help me not get so easily annoyed with the things that my students do, because I love my students and I love this age group. I've always said this is the group I want. I don't want high school. I can't. I'm terrified of the little ones. These are my people. I'm seriously, dude.
I believe it. They are terrifying.
They're scary. And so, like, these are my people, and I love middle school so much. But lately, they are just like, I can't even. I'm like a group of girls going to the bathroom at odd numbers. I can't even. And so I'm really hoping that this is what that this is going to help, because the meds are helping. Like I'll put it out there. I'm on Lexapro, and I've been on Lexapro for 2 months now, and in fact, I just took my 60th pill yesterday, and the only reason to know that is because I had to.
As I say, it's a very astute number.
Well, no, I mean it's my second. I just refilled my prescription for the second time. That's how I know that. I just started, or I start my new bottle tomorrow. I start my new prescription tomorrow, and so I know I've been on Lexapro for 60 days now, and I can tell a difference. Like I'm not, I haven't had, I've had much more mild panic attacks, and in fact, I had a really bad panic attack right at the end of the first month, right before my first checkup, and we upped the dose because it was working but not well enough. And I've been on this increased dose for a month now, and I feel better. I noticeably feel better, but that's only helping with certain parts of it. And so I'm really hoping this is the way to go, because all the research I've done, which has not been a whole lot because I've only been diving into this for 4 days now. I can see a lot of parallels in myself in the success stories I've read, for lack of a better way to put it. And so yeah, I'm really excited about exploring this territory, because I like the Eastern culture, and so I think this will be a good experience, and I'll report back when after I've given this meditation thing a try, and I'm picking up what they're laying down.
Well, however I can support.
So,
because it's funny that you know, I joked in college because I have a problem with organized religion. Or I did.
Right.
I guess I still kind of do, but
I think most people do.
Yeah.
On some level, most people have some sort of a problem with organized religion.
Yeah. So I always joked. I was like, well, I'm Buddhist. Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, if you think about it, and us talking about this, I've been digging into it too. I liked this one site of Shambhala.org. It says you can't say that this is religious, philosophical, or psychological. It's a journey of life.
It is. It really is.
So, and I've always dug that. I always like to be as calm as possible, which I think I do very well. I am very calm, but
you are a very calm person. You're a very chill individual.
So I've always joked that I was Buddhist, but I mean, it's intriguing because I never knew much about it. Like I did think, oh, it's a religion. It's like, well, I'm not into religion. So
yeah, and it's not like, it's not like it's not a religion in the way that like Catholicism or Protestantism or Islam or anything like that. And I think really that's where the misconception is the representation with the statue and everything.
Yeah.
And the one personified deity, and considering Buddha to be a deity is where, and I think people confuse Buddha with who is it, Muhammad and Vishnu and all these other
Shiva and whatnot.
I think people just, and it's ignorance, and it's innocent ignorance. It's just it's you see these symbols and things of other cultures that you don't understand because you've never taken the time to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where people really get into the whole Buddhism is a religion. And for some people it is, but for a lot of people, especially a lot of Westerners, it's not. And it is entirely possible to be completely dedicated to your chosen faith and associate and identify as Buddhist.
Yeah.
I really believe that because nothing I have seen contradicts anything of my faith. I don't feel like my faith is in question in pursuing this. I don't feel like anything I'm doing is going against the way I was raised and my faith and everything. If it was, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be doing it. And again, this is not me trying to find a new. This isn't like a journey of faith because I'm trying to reconcile my relationship with God and my crisis of faith and whatnot. I've just become more. When I was a kid, I was a Jesus freak. I was listening to DC Talk and Newsboys and Jeff Moore in the Distance, and I was going to Christian concerts and rallies.
Woo!
I was wearing Christian T-shirts all the time. I was the first kid and the first youth group member at church and the last one to leave. And I mean, I was all in high school, especially. And as I've gotten older, I think I've just become more pragmatic about life in general. And I don't know what I mean, some people would say that my faith isn't strong enough, and maybe that's true. Who's to say? But I've had too much negative things in my life to just say, oh, well, it's part of the plan and all this and things like that. I can only go so far before I'm like, okay, like something, I'm not getting a return on my investment. And that sounds really selfish, and I recognize that. But that's where my crisis of faith is rooted, is honestly lack of return in my investment. I put a lot of myself into my faith when I was a kid, and some when I was an adult. And I mean, I remember going on one of my first job interviews as a teenager. The guy asked me what I thought my best quality was, and I said my faith. And at the time, I meant it. But I've just, in the last 5 to 10 years, have become much more pragmatic about life. And I don't know. It's one of the it's just kind of a stereotypical thing of what's God done for me lately.
Yeah.
But I've been burned by churches a lot, and that's kind of where my problem with the organized religion comes from. Is I have a relationship with God. Right now, it's a rocky relationship, but it's nobody else's business. I know you're supposed to shout it from the mountaintops and go tell it on the mountain and all that crap.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that. I did when I was in high school, but as an adult, I've never felt like I needed to wear my faith as a badge. My relationship with God is between me and God, and I like keeping it that way. And which is why I don't go to church. It's part of the reason that I don't go to church is because I don't feel like I need to go to church I don't feel like I need to congregate with people to strengthen my faith. I feel like I feel like it's a more intimate relationship, that it's something between me and God, and that's how I want to keep it, and I don't feel like I need to share it with anybody.
Yeah.
And I felt like that for a long time. And one day I'm confident that one day God and I will be on better terms. But for now, we are what we are.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to find a replacement. I'm looking for something to get my head on straight.
Yeah.
And I think this is what's going to do it. So
Good. Yay. Again,
So-
anything I can do to support.
and
I know we talked about this at school, and
Yeah,
the location's nearby. So
I know. And like, I think maybe after the first of the year, I think we should
stop by.
stop by and see, because they don't have a website.
I'll tell you
there's
what, on fall break, I'll swing by. I mean,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
there.
So yeah, like they don't have a website, but there was another place that's got like a lot of different locations around the Metroplex, and they're like open meditation class and everything. And I'm hoping that's what this other place is, because I would definitely like to go check that out.
So for our listeners, we're discussing a local temple, meditation center in where we work. So
Yeah. Yeah, there's because I was listening to this, like while I was listening to this book, I'm like, I wonder what kind of classes and group, like if there are meditation classes around. So I Googled it, like Buddhist meditation classes or something like that, and I knew this temple was down. It's right down from work.
yeah,
And we've passed it a bunch of times, and we've talked
Mhm.
about, like, can you just drop in, or is it like a church kind of thing, or what?
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I was and earlier this week, as I've been listening, I was like, hey, would you go? I asked Mikey, I was like, hey, would you go to the Buddhist meditation center with me? And so, like, we're both down. Like, I think it'd be fun
yeah.
to check it out. So yeah, if you'll check that out over the break, that'd be great. And then maybe after the first of the year, when things calm down on my end, and I can actually stay after school for more than 5 minutes.
When does the boys stop football? Is that December-ish?
First weekend in November.
Okay.
And actually, if I'm not mistaken, Steph's last game and James's last game are the same weekend. So
That's funny.
And so yeah, everything will settle down actually after Thanksgiving, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everything will.
Then you've got Christmas though, so and that's
Yeah.
a whole hot mess of family too. I know.
Yeah. And see, that's another thing, is we're coming into the part of the year, the hardest part of the year for me. And for the last 2 years, from November to January, I've shut down. And my meds are helping, and I'm anxious to see how well they help. But that's also why I'm trying to get started on this other thing now, is hopefully I can get into a groove and get into a routine where when my seasonal depression kicks in, I can manage it better, and I won't be just a zombie for 2 months. I just remember last year, I was sitting in the lunchroom. I don't even think you were in there. I was sitting in the lunchroom, or the break room in the castle, and I'm eating lunch, and I'm just kind of like gone. And Davis was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I'm just. This is a hard time of year for me, and but I'm like, and I was like, I don't like Christmas. I don't like the holidays. She was like, I was like, and I don't think there's anything, like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm entitled to not like Christmas. She was like, oh no, it's fine if you hate Jesus. That's fine. Like, she didn't skip a beat either.
That's how we knew. That's how we know we're good people, man.
Right. It's like, it's fine if you hate Jesus. That's no judgment. I was like, and it was one of those, I needed to hear that, because I cracked up for the rest of the day. Like, that put me in a better mood. And it was funny because you could see the look on her face. Like, as soon as she threw that out there, was like, I really hope that was okay. Because we really still didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know each other very well.
We'd only been working together for a few months. We didn't know each other that well. And she just threw that right out there on the table. And the look on her face as soon as she said it was, I really hope that was okay. And it was great. Like, that was kind of a defining moment of our friendship, was when she called me out on my crap in such an offensive way that was so funny, and it was like, okay, we're cool. Like, that just established the kind of friends we're gonna be, and we're cool now. And so yeah, I will forever remember Davis telling me that it's okay if I hate Jesus,
She's good people, man.
and it was greatness.
The stuff that's coming out of her mouth when we were working together was horrible.
Oh, I bet. So, well, that's time. I feel bad that Beach dropped out because this would have been a good discussion to have him in on.
Maybe he can listen to this episode.
He can listen to the episode, and maybe we can talk about it later, or maybe we can do because I'm gonna do an episode of Captain speaking about it and go a little more in depth when I have a little bit better information. Maybe I can get him to come on that and we can talk because he's had a little experience. I mean, he's done some studying up on other religions and whatnot. And I will say it's interesting because I was looking for the book at Barnes and Noble, and I was looking for the book at half price, and where I found some of the authors and works that he references, that Dan references, was interesting because there was a self-help section at Barnes & Noble, and that's where I found most of the things he was referencing was in the self-help section. But there was a metaphysical section or something like that at half price where I found a lot of it. And it was so weird what people classify some of this stuff as. Some people are going to classify it as New Age and metaphysics and all this other stuff. And so, but I'm anxious to hit half price this weekend and see if I can't find that Epstein book.
Falling to pieces, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, as
the
old
book
as
or the audio.
Well, I mean, the audio would be great, but audiobooks are hard to come by at half price. It's so niche over there. But if I can at least get the book itself, then I can try to do something with it. So. And in some of this, maybe the book is better. It's because it's almost like a textbook for me at this point. And so maybe having the physical book to read through and take notes and write in the book and whatnot may be the best thing for me. And I mean, I've got that lecture series from Goldstein, so maybe I just try to get this other book. So
yeah, cool.
So yeah, namaste.
Namaste.